Your story matters. So, hey, this is Urslan. I'm your certified personal trainer and nutritionist, and welcome back to another episode of The Inner Game. This is the number one show helping you master the mindset of losing weight. So, comment down below and let me know if you are tuning in live by commenting live, or if you're catching me at a later time, comment, replay. That way I know when this is reaching you. So I just had one of the most stimulating conversations with an Uber driver that I probably have ever had in my entire life here in San Diego. Mac! What's up, Mac? Thank you for tuning in live. How are we doing today, sir? Mac, it's a little later, I guess, in New York right now. It's almost close to 10. It's good to see you here, man. How are we doing tonight, Mac? Regina's there. Hello, Regina. So I was taking an Uber back home to this Airbnb that I'm at right now. And there was this gentleman named Dewey who was from Vietnam. And he was sharing his story with me. He was sharing with me how when he was 7 years old, he was able to escape Vietnam. So essentially, during the Vietnam War, there was a period where after 1975, when the war had ended, there was essentially a civil war going on between the North and the South. And what they did with everyone in the South was they put them through re-education camps, which were essentially prison camps, where they indoctrinated them and released these people back into society. And these people from the South were treated almost as second-class citizens, and they didn't have the same rights as everybody else. So their children weren't able to go into school. They weren't able to do things without the permission of the government. So what the father of this Uber driver, Dewey, decided to do was to escape. And what they did was, in the middle of the night, one day, they took a canoe, just like a fishing boat, and they split up into different groups. And at the peak of the darkness in the night, they ended up leaving on a fishing boat, risking their entire family and their entire lives for what merely is a dream of a better life in America. And miraculously, they make it to Malaysia, where then they are intercepted by Thailand pirates, literally sailors, who were taking advantage of people from Vietnam that were leaving during this time. And they were robbed clean and completely stripped of everything they've ever owned. And finally, they were able to make it to a refugee camp in Malaysia, where they were literally starting from scratch. They started from zero. And luckily, they were sponsored by somebody out here in San Diego. And that's the story of how they went from 1975 to eventually, being in Malaysia in 1979, ultimately moving to San Diego in 1980. And now, even though this person, Dewey, who was my Uber driver, was driving Uber, he also was driving me in a Tesla. He also happens to be an insurance agent who is very successful. And the whole reason why he drives Uber is because he really enjoys meeting people from different places. He was even telling me about a scientist who shared with him how the water wells are going to dry up within 5 to 10 years. And we have the technology to take the ocean water and desalinize it, but there's not a demand for that, and because of that, we're not taking action towards it. But all of these interesting stories he had to share with me, and then he finally asked me to share, what does it have to do with losing weight? Why am I even talking about this right now, Urslan? I'm gonna get there. So he finally asked me to share my story, and I was like, I don't really have a story. My mom and my dad were from Pakistan. They immigrated here. My brother and I were born here. My sisters were born in Pakistan, and that's kind of it. But then he challenged me. He's like, there must be more. Like, that must not have been an easy process of getting to where they were to where you guys are now. And I thought a little bit harder, and I was like, you know what? He's right. Like, my mom had a dream. My dad had a dream that my brother would become a doctor. And he's a surgeon, and he is a doctor. And even though my mom wasn't around to see that, that's the American dream. We did it, in a sense. And it's like, wait a minute. Like, that's so profound. Why did I just discount that? And I shared this with him, and he was thankful that I shared that with him. And he asked me to, it almost actually reminded me, I was like, wait a minute, I'm going to ask my dad, like, what's the actual story? Because it couldn't have been easy just to pack up and leave. I mean, I've decided to pack up and leave less than 50 miles away from where I live, and I'm having like this breakdown. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's the hardest thing in the whole world. And like, my dad had to leave everything, and my mom, that he knew, he loved, he grew up with, to go to a foreign place where he knew virtually nobody. And I was like, wow, I never thought about it that way. And now that I do, I'm like, wait a minute, my story matters, and it's profound, and it's powerful. Dewey's story matters, and it's powerful, and it's profound, and your story matters. And I share this with you because when you're on your weight loss journey and it's hard and you overcome that and you get to the other side of it, just like I was interviewing Patrick Santoro today, who lost 35 pounds in the course of 4 months, completely changed his life. That's powerful. And it's not only powerful for you, it's powerful for everyone around you that you now have the opportunity and the gift of impacting. I was sitting and I was eating Indian food, and I couldn't help but feel, I'm like, I don't do this for me. Like, I'm good. I'm okay. I do this for everyone around me. I do this for everyone out there. I do this for you. Because for me, that's where I find fulfillment, is in these conversations, in this joy, is in the transformation, right? And I want to share this with you because sometimes in life, the things you go through are not necessarily just for you. It's so that you can share your story of overcoming and inspire hope in somebody else. And in turn, make the world that much more brighter, right? One of my favorite lines comes from the Bible is, you don't light a lamp or a candle and then just hide it underneath a mattress or underneath a table. You know, you light it, you know, as a bright hill to inspire others. And I hope that me sharing this story with you did for you what it did for me, which is, wow, my story matters, and I have a responsibility of telling it and telling it well. So I hope that this all made sense and that you found this helpful. And if you did, there are a couple of ways that you can help. One is you can like or heart this video, and two is you can share this with just one other person that you believe would also find it helpful. Thanks so much for watching. Mac, thank you so much for tuning in live. Godberg10, I swear, people on Instagram have the best usernames. Thank you for tuning in live. Rebecca, thank you for Rebecca, this is the first time you're catching me live? Oh, she left. She wasn't having it. She didn't want to get... Okay, David, thank you for tuning in live. I hope you guys have the best night of your entire life, and I will see you in my next video.